Hello, I'm Linda Smith and I'm a demonstrator for the North Midlands area of Nefas. I'm going to do two designs. The first one is quite a simple parallel design in a narrow container, and I've already put in some pussy willow, and that's the commercial variety. Gives me nice straight lines, but then I'm going to add some lovely lisianthus, and what good value these flowers are, so much flower on the stem. And what I want to try and create is a design that gives a wall of spring flower, lovely spring pastel colours. I'm using in my container biodegradable foam, trying to be as kind as we can to the environment, and I'm putting the flowers in at varying heights. It's quite important not to get level lines in your design. And if you haven't got commercial pussy willow or lichen twigs, then you could use some of the lovely ribes, the flowering currant, which comes out in spring. You could also use the contorted willow stems, providing they're not too contorted. So the idea is just to create a very natural look, as though the flowers are growing in your garden. And the beauty of this design is the fact that you can vary your flowers according to the seasons. So come summer, you might just like to go along into your garden and find some lovely summer flowers. The one thing I like using lisianthus for is that there's so many forms, some lovely points and then the cup-shaped flowers, and this is a double lisianthus that I'm using. And it's now available in so many different shades. Now at the bottom of my design, you might see that, you might have noticed that I've put some moss. Now I've picked this from my lawn. There's quite a bit there, I have to say, but it isn't advisable to pick it in the wild. It is actually illegal to do so. And I'm just putting some lisianthus in the back because I want to give my design some depth. This is quite a narrow container, but nonetheless, it's good to try and get some depth into the design. I'm cutting the stems on an angle. If there's people watching this that are new to flower arranging, always remember to cut your stems on a 45-degree angle so that they take up water. And obviously the more water the flower takes up, the better it is for the longevity of that flower. And now I'm going to add some spray carnations. It's a lovely bright pink and offers me a great contrast of colour in my design. It also gives me a different form. This container is a particular favourite of mine. I treated myself when I went to Belgium the other year, and I found it very useful, not just doing for tall designs like this, but doing the more compact designs. But don't worry if you haven't got a container like this. You can achieve the same effect using one perhaps not so wide, but you will need more flower. I'm going to thread that through there, just getting that garden border look. And I'm taking care to cut the stems of the carnations between the nodes. That's those, just remove that leaf, the little bumps there, because if you cut the carnation on the node, it will seal off and then it won't take up water. Again, the longevity of your flower will be diminished. In their centre stage, so you can see how that's coming up. I'm just building up that lovely wall of flower, and again putting something in the back just to take the eye right through to the design, to the back of the design. Just get these last few carnations in. As I say, if you're new to flower arranging, this is quite a simple design to do. I've cut the oasis level with the rim of the container, and just to make sure that it gives that nice straight appearance. Another piece of plant material that would look very good in this design, depending on your colourway, would be the lovely Carrier japonica. It's bright yellow and it would add a lovely flash of colour. And my last flower I'm going to put in is the beautiful iris. Now this is an architectural flower. It really does give some interest and some contrast in the design. Now I have to say that iris don't last a huge amount of time in the design in floral foam, but I do think that to use spring flowers, we just have to enjoy them for the moment, and what a refreshing sight they are. The lovely thing is that they're not easily available throughout the year, so let's make the most of them while ever we can. Now they do take a little bit of getting out, and they can look like the proverbial split fingers, but if you get them like that and you want to get them out, just gently hold it there and tap it and you'll see them start to come out. Not too hard, because if you do, I'm sure you can guess what will happen. But just a gentle tap, it will get it out. And just a lovely vibrant blue colour, and the yellow throats just really do stand out quite beautifully. Let's cut a little more of that stem. And then just to finish my design, I've got some moss. I did put some in at the front, but I just want to poke it through because I really do want to create that natural effect. So there we are, that completes my first design. And that's an ideal design to do for a church windowsill, a table arrangement, a narrow shelf at home. So many uses. And of course, you can also vary it to the seasons. At Easter, you could put Easter eggs in, and at Christmas, you can put baubles in. So that completes my first design. Now my second design, I'm using a raised container, and I've put some Sinecchio in, some Brachyglotis, as it was once called, and this lovely conifer, absolutely stunning because it has a silver leaf at the back, and that's Thunjopsis, if I pronounce that name correctly. Quite a scaly texture and just lovely, lovely contrast to the Sinecchio. This is going to be an asymmetrical design, and I'm going to put in some dried leaves of Phormium. This is Phormium Yellow Wave, and it's dried, and this is the part that goes into the ground, so it should be that way up, but I'm going to use it this way up because it gives me such an interesting piece of plant material. And I'm going to make a dagger shape so that I can put it into my oasis. I've got 2/3 of a block of oasis in here, and it's in a container that's a rough stone texture. Just making that dagger shape and putting them in on a diagonal. And the reason you make that dagger shape is so that you don't take up huge amounts of oasis. So putting in there 3 Phormium leaves. Just look at that lovely rough texture there. It really is super. And counterbalancing them with three at the bottom. And I haven't filled my container with floral foam. You know, we try and be as careful in its use as possible. But I have put it in an old food container actually, which just fits in quite snugly. I'm going to put in this lovely pistachio green carnation, super colour. And I know some people malign carnations, but they really are. There are some super colours, and they are excellent value for money. If you're new to flower arranging and you'd like to know more about it, do think about joining a flower club, because you'll meet like-minded people there. You'll learn so much, and you'll make new friends, and I can assure you, you'll have a very warm welcome from the Flower Club. Go to the NAFAS website and have a look and see where there is a flower club near you. And at the time of doing this, I know that flower clubs aren't meeting because of the pandemic, but when we get back, oh boy, are we going to enjoy ourselves. So, you know, just think about it, having some lovely evenings of flowers and friendship, and just come along when we get back. Again, if you want to use this design at other times of year. Obviously you can change the colours, you can put different things in it, but there we are. So I'll just turn that round and you can see how it's all following that diagonal line. And of course, if you are already a member of the Flower Club, you might like to take it one step further and think about becoming a demonstrator. I'm sure your area will be very, very pleased to hear from you. Now, I've got some lovely white English tulips. They have started to come out, but I'm going to put these through the design. And we all know that tulips have a mind of their own. Where I put them today might not be where they end up tomorrow. They're one of the flowers that grow from the just below the flower, the head of the flower, and that's where all the growth hormones are in tulips, and they will perhaps twist and turn in the design, but there again, that is the joy of tulips. Such lovely, and there's a lovely touch of yellow just at the base there, which is rather lovely. Just so lovely to welcome the spring with these lovely, lovely flowers. And I have to say that green and white, look at the curve on that. Green and white is one of my favourite colour combinations, and just by adding this formium, it does give a different texture and some depth of colour. You can of course spray your formiums, but I've just decided to keep them in their natural state. Just got room for one more carnation there. Excellent. And there we are. That completes my second design. Thank you.